Regarding the California Institutes for Science and Innovation, I've been a part of the University of California now for nearly 40 years, and I've had the opportunity to work on several campuses and in several different venues during my time, including a stint in the office of the president with two of our San Diego colleagues, Dick Atkinson and Bob Dimes. And one of the things that I was able to see, and I think that many of us have been able to experience over these years, is that the power of this university is really the power of its people. And the collaborations that we have between people within departments, within schools, but then also across schools and now across campuses allows us to do things that we can't do by ourselves individually or even in small groups, that when we connect ourselves together, we really have a greater power than we do alone. And that really is the power and the promise of the 10 campus system, the power and the promise of 10 working together. And there's perhaps no better exemplar of that kind of collaboration than the Calit2 collaboration, where scientists and students and staff from 2 campuses and then connected to hundreds, literally, of companies all over this region and around the world are working together in real time every day on the problems that are most pressing to us. So we're really pleased to be a part of this and really excited to see this working. The members of the audience and others here today and in San Diego have had a chance to tour the buildings, and I will say every time that I have a chance to come here and visit Calit2 and spend a little bit more time with the people who are working here, I see real advances from the last time that I was here. And today we were looking at the hyperwall, and we were able to look at the first generation hyperwall from 5 or so years ago, one from a couple of years ago, and then the one that's available today. And you can just see the market improvements that are there. And so it's really great to be able to see and feel and experience and live with this progress. We have many, many things that we are doing here that we're very proud of. We have great work in clean rooms, and today one of our simulations was on how not only to work within a clean room, but how to maintain the clean room. We have a tech portal that's incubating new businesses, and as we mentioned, there are hundreds, literally, of businesses that have connections with Calit2. We have a whole series of programs that are meant to take our students from the undergraduate level through the graduate level, through postdoctoral work, through faculty careers, working in innovation and those things that make the University of California great and things that make us all proud. As we go on with today's program, though, it's very important. We're looking at the fascinating things that we're doing today and the great opportunities that we have in the future. But those things really all are built on the visionary work of leaders from the recent past. And I want to make sure that I acknowledge several of those. We have acknowledged already Governor Gray Davis, whose idea this was in the late 90s and whose vision this really represents. And we're also pleased and honored today to be joined by my predecessor here, Ralph Cicerone, now the president of the National Academy of National Academies. And I'd like to say thank you, Ralph, for joining us and being such an active participant in the founding of this institute and these institutes, and then also in their progress as we move forward. We're very pleased to have Nick Alexopoulos here with us today, who was the Dean of Engineering at the time that Calit2 came on board. Also, Sue Bryant is with us, and Bill Parker. Very pleased to have you all joining us here, because it really is the a realization of your vision that we sit within today. We also have many community supporters. Great ideas are wonderful, but bringing those great ideas to market, to practical things that actually can help people, requires the broad business community to be able to work with us in a seamless partnership. And we're really pleased and honored to be able to have that be a part of what we're doing here today and what Calit2 represents. Jim McClooney, the CEO of Emulex, is here with us today, and thank you, Jim, for joining us. Another business leader who was critically important to the beginning of Calit2 and has really been a great stalwart here on our campus and also at UCLA is Broadcom's founder and chief technology officer, Henry Samueli. Henry was unable to join us here today, but we have a short video with some comments. So I think now if we can roll that video.
I am so happy to be able to offer my congratulations on the 10th anniversary of the California Institutes on Science and Innovation, and more particularly, of course, the institute here in Southern California, Calit2. These institutes, when they were created 10 years ago, are playing such an important role in the California innovation economy. And companies like Broadcom, that I co-founded so many years ago, really depend on that innovation to produce the new technologies and the talent that we need in the future. companies like Broadcom are continuously squeezed to nearer-term innovations. We have to look at an R&D horizon that's maybe only 2 to 3 to 5 years out at the most because of the worldwide competition that we face. So we have to rely on universities to do the longer-term 5-10-year horizon research projects, and that is exactly in the sweet spot of what institutes like Calit2 perform. And in particular, with the collaborative nature of these institutes, the multidisciplinary nature of these institutes, it's becoming so important for the future technology industry. You look at where we are headed as an industry, the information technology sector is now part of everything. It is part of the energy sector with the smart grid, it's a part of the healthcare sector with wireless health initiatives, part of the environmental sector, of course. So there's this confluence of information technology with virtually every sector of science and engineering. So having Calit2 here in Southern California is such a boost to our local economy, to stimulate startups, to stimulate the job market with the creation of new talent. Again, congratulations for the vision that the people had 10 years ago to create this institute and to create the other science and innovation institutes. And we wish you much success for the future. Congratulations.
Great, thanks. When we didn't see Henry's image, I thought I was going to have to do some birds against the screen. So I'm glad that came up. I acknowledge several people who are in the audience, and I want to make sure before we go on to one more video clip to acknowledge G.P. Lee, who has provided really outstanding leadership to Calit2 for these last several years, and we really appreciate that leadership here within the Institute, GP, but also the truly collaborative nature of interactions that you've had with our colleagues here across the campus and at San Diego. It really is those human interactions that make this technological connection possible and makes it so fruitful. So thank you for that. And then to also acknowledge our friend Dan Dooley, who came down from the Office of the President today and has been a great support to the institution, really broadly to the University of California in so many ways, but we appreciate particularly your acknowledgement and support of Calit2 today. Thank you for being here, Dan. One more video message for us, and that is a message from the President of the University, Mark Udoff, who has a few words to say.
Good morning. I'm delighted to celebrate with you today the 10th anniversary of the California Institutes for Science and Innovation, one of the finest examples in the nation of research serving the public interest. 10 years ago, Governor Gray Davis had the foresight to invest state funds and to create partnerships with private industry in order to establish major research institutions at UC campuses. It was a bold move, positioning the state of California in an area that had been largely shaped by the federal government and setting the stage for California to become economically competitive in emerging industries. Over the past decade, the institutes have not only fulfilled, but have in many ways surpassed the expectations at their founding, creating new knowledge, new companies, and new jobs for California. At UC San Diego and UC Irvine, Calit2 has become the place for interdisciplinary research in telecommunications and information technology, changing every discipline and industry. An entire generation of scientists have been trained in cross-disciplinary work and have launched promising careers as a result. The University of California has benefited beyond measure from their work, as have the people of California. For these accomplishments and more, I congratulate Governor Davis and am pleased to dedicate the Governor Gray Davis Institutes for Science and Innovation. I offer my congratulations to you all and thank you for your path-breaking work. And now I would like to invite Steve Beckwith, our Vice President of Research and Graduate Studies, and Dan Dooley, Senior Vice President of External Relations, to unveil plaques in the Calit2 buildings on both campuses in honor of Governor Davis, who is in San Diego. Gentlemen.